So, all of my lawn equipment has broken, and I have lost control of my backyard. Fortunately, with a little help from a neighbor, I was able to keep the front yard somewhat reasonable. As you can see, everything is seriously overgrown. I've started to knock it all back, but normally speaking, I let certain areas overgrow anyway, and then knock them down later in the year. Some people don't like this. There's actually several people in my life that don't like me doing that. But I have a good reason. Several good reasons. See, I'm trying to improve some of the worst soil you can possibly have. And all of this biomass that grew up is just going to sit here and compost down and improve all the soil throughout the whole area. I'm basically making a giant compost pile. Some of this I might concentrate around in certain areas, like through here, right here, which is the first area I hit, was super overgrown. And some of it I'm probably going to move to the base of my trees. But besides breaking down all this compost, there are other benefits. One is a lot of these plants that came in send their roots way, way down into the ground. When I cut them off, it killed the plant. All those roots are already way down in that soil, adding organic matter. You do that repeatedly, and it will improve the soil. Those weeds will go way further than anything else I could do by hand. Another reason I let certain areas overgrow is kind of right here in front of you right now. Look at that. It's just having a good old time. All these insects. Bees, moths, butterflies. You can go just outside of my yard, at least right now, since the county sprayer came through, and it's devastated. I've got grasshoppers. I've got rabbits that live in here. Birds, like a dozen different lizard species, just all kinds of stuff. But it is that time of year where I have to reclaim parts of it, and I need to get my pathways opened back up so that I can garden for the fall. And then come fall, I'm going to knock a lot of this back. That's when I do it. When I really go to town. But see, as I walk along, all kinds of insects are jumping out in front of me. This is a healthy environment. All this biomass is going to feed the soil. It's going to feed the fungus and the microbes. And in turn, it's going to feed my fruit trees. The soil is going to get slowly better as time goes by. Because once a year, I let it overgrow. Now, I usually keep some paths open And I usually keep a main area right out here for the kids to play. But like I said, all of my lawn equipment broke right at the beginning of summer. 2 lawnmowers went down and my weed eater went down. I didn't have the ability to fix them at that time. Well, I've gotten the weed eater going and modified. Had to order some parts online, wait for those parts, find out half the parts I ordered, even though were labeled for my weed eater, do not fit my weed eater. Then modify those parts so that they work. Well, I basically spent an entire night doing exactly that, modifying. So I'll be coming through here next, reopening up my paths. And I turned my industrial weed eater into a brush hog. It's easy enough to switch it back over to a weed eater afterwards. I mean, look at all this woody substances here. So I got more to do here. That's still pretty significant. I gotta get it all the way down, but there's all kinds of stuff, all kinds of life in here. So as I go through, I'm kind of keeping that in mind. I'm opening up the areas I need to open up first. And all of this biomatter, all of it is going to break down and make a tremendous difference on the quality of the soil here, year after year. There's no monoculture here. The evils of monoculture will not be in this yard. But life will be. Lots of it. I enjoy my butterflies. I always let certain spots overgrow. This is one of the spots I normally let overgrow because of what'll come up here. And because of that, I get these guys. Probably a dozen different species of wasps and bees, grasshoppers, lizards, just all kinds of good stuff. But it's time for me to open this back up. So that's what I'll be doing for the next week or so, when I have the extra time around the things that need to be done. Got to get that fixed. I have one board that went bad. But this whole area and all this biomass, all of that biomass is going to improve this soil like none other. The only other thing I could possibly do to replicate what this would do would be to cover the whole thing in 3 feet of mulch and then broad fork it in real good. And that's a lot of work. Not that what I'm doing and breaking this all back down isn't a lot of work. Work with nature, folks. be surprised how much good you can do just by taking areas and letting them go back to wild. Doesn't mean you don't go in there and clean it up. Doesn't mean you don't go in there and knock it down from time to time. It's called managing it. This is ragweed in bloom. Might be why I'm sneezing. I'm sneezing a lot lately. There's all kinds of good stuff in here. Little wildflowers. A highly invasive grass that I hate. But it's okay. Because ultimately, this will all balance itself out. Now, I know all of this biomass that's going to compost down here doesn't have any chemicals. There's no chemicals. I didn't add any. Therefore, they're not here. No pesticides. No nothing that everybody's having so much problem with. And yet, I have fertility. Lots of people are going and just dumping massive amounts of chemicals, artificial fertilizers, all that good stuff to have fertility. When nature will give it to you for free. You just need to learn to listen. Look up there, I got some papaya. I think I'm gonna have green papaya fried up in my future real soon. You have a blessed day.